Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the News Today edition of 25th November. My name is Anuj and I will be taking this session. So, in today's session, we will be covering 12 news, and in those 12 news, we will be covering 3 as the main news, 8 as quick updates, and 1 news as personality in news. So, in main news, we will be covering about volcanic eruption in Ethiopia. In second news, we will be covering about Chief Justice of India and the judges of Supreme Court. In third main news, we will be covering about the Supreme Court Center for Research and Planning has released a white paper on artificial intelligence and judiciary. So these three news are main news for today. Then we have quick updates. Then we will be covering personality in news, that is Lachit Borphukan. So let us move to the first news for today. So the first news for today is that volcanic eruption has taken place in Ethiopia. It is important for our examination as it is mentioned in GS paper 1 as well as in GS paper 3. In GS paper 1, it is mentioned that important geophysiological phenomena such as volcanic activity, and in paper 3 we have mentioned of disaster management. So let us move to the news discussion. So first let us discuss the context of this news. We have briefly discussed the context of the news. So again, Ethiopia long dormant highly Gobi volcano erupted for the first time in more than 1200 years. So it's an important fact that it has erupted for the first time. On the basis of activity, there are three types of volcano. One is active volcano, which erupt quite oftenly. Then we have dormant volcanoes, which have not erupted from a long time. Then we have extinct volcanoes. That means they have not erupted. Okay, so based on activity, volcano can be categorized into three: active volcano, dormant volcano, and extinct volcano. Okay, now let us understand about volcanic eruption. It is very important to understand how volcanic eruption take place, what are the reason behind it, and how they can be asked in your examination. So first of all, let us understand its definition. So it is defined as the expulsion of gases, rock fragment, and or molten lava from within earth through a vent onto the earth's surface. Please be clear here that earth lava and magma are same, but magma is known as when the lava is there below the surface of the earth. When it comes out, it is known as lava. So that is the basic difference between magma and lava. Okay, and earth's mantle contain a weaker zone called asthenosphere, from where the molten rock materials called magma escapes out. Okay, that magma only converts into lava. Okay, we will be understanding about its dynamics in the next slide. Okay, let us move to the next slide. So key eruption material, first of all, it is lava that has erupted from the magma. There are other materials as well, such as pyroclastic debris, volcanic bombs, ash, dust, gases such as nitrogen compound, sulfur compound, and other materials as well. So basically on types of lava, the volcanoes can be classified as acidic volcanoes or basic or basaltic volcanoes. Okay, there are other types of volcanoes as well. We will understand about them as well. So other types are caldera, flood basalt provinces volcanoes and mid-ridges volcanoes. Before understanding them, let us understand how does a formation of volcano take place. You might have studied about tectonic plates in your geography classes. Okay, so tectonic plates either move away from each other, okay, or converge towards one another. There is another kinds of movement as well. They pass through one another. So in third type of transformation, there is no formation of volcano. But in first and second type of transboundaries, that is convergent and divergent types of boundaries, there is formation of volcanoes. So wherever there is convergence, okay, so one plate will be coming towards the other plate and the heavier plate will be going down the lighter plate. That is called as subduction zone. Suppose these are two plates and one plate will be going down. So this zone will be known as the subduction zone. Okay, so here there will be the formation of volcanoes. Similarly, in the case of divergent boundaries, so two plate boundaries will be moving from one another and there will be the rise of volcano or the magma. There also will be the formation of volcanoes. Now coming to the type of volcanoes based on the lava. First of all, there are two types of volcanoes based on the lava, and on the based of their structure they can be classified into five. First, let us understand the acidic or thicker volcanoes. What it is? So it contain high silica content, which is very viscous. That means that is not that fluid. Okay, so that won't travel far. In the case of basic volcanoes, they have low silica content and low viscosity. That means they can travel far. Suppose there is a vent and magma is coming out of it. Suppose it has low viscosity, so it will go far away from the vent. That is the formation of basic volcanoes, also known as the sealed volcanoes. It is given in your NCRTs, okay, geography NCRTs. Then coming to the cone volcanoes or composite volcanoes. In this, the silica content is high, which is viscous. So the lava won't travel far from the vent. So it will go like this. There will be the formation of cone. That's why they are known as cone volcanoes. Coming to the caldera volcanoes, you might have also heard about caldera lakes as well. The eruption is so powerful that the upper portion is erupted, so that a lake is formed there. That's why it is known as the caldera volcanoes. Now coming to the flood basalt provinces. Flood means a rush. Basalt means igneous rocks and provinces means an area. So there is large amount of lava that is coming out in a particular area forming basalt rocks. And its example is Deccan Trap. Okay. Your basics should be very clear when you are reading such types of news, because UPSC is asking from the basics of geography. And last type of volcano is mid-ridges volcano. These are formed on ocean basins where two plate tectonic or plates are moving away from the each other. So it should be very clear. Five types of volcanoes. Okay. One is acidic, also known as cone volcanoes or composite volcanoes. Then basic volcanoes, also known as sealed volcanoes. Then the caldera volcanoes, flood basalt provinces volcanoes, and the mid-ridges volcanoes. Okay, now let us move to the next part of this discussion. So, in the next part, we will be discussing about the major consequences of volcanic eruption. First of all, let us look at the positive. So, as the magma is coming from beneath the earth, we can understand about the information regarding the earth interior. It acts as a direct source. Secondly, it is source of geothermal energy because it is heated and it is lead to the formation of heat in the surrounding area. That's why it forms as source of geothermal energy. Lastly, it lead to temporary cooling of atmosphere. As the acids and other gases are shoot up from the vent, they act as a shield at the atmosphere, and the sunlight cannot enter at the below these surface. That's why it acts as a temporary cooling of atmosphere. Then it have negative impact as well. First of all, it lead to air pollution as well as the acid rain, as there are compound of sulfur. Also, it is accompanied by disaster. First of all, volcano in itself is a disaster. Then it also accompanied by a earthquake. And last, it also lead to loss of property and life as well. Also, it also lead to the degeneration of soil. That means soil will be impacted by those pollutants which are coming from the vents. So these are the consequences of the volcanoes. Now we will discuss the PYQ related to this news. So first PYQ is from 2018 prelims. You have to solve this. Okay, you will learn about elimination method. You will learn about extreme statement in this question. Let us read the question. First, consider the following statement. Statement 1. The barren island volcano is an active volcano located in the Indian territory. Okay, this is the first statement. I think you all might be knowing about this. Second, barren island lies about 140 km east of Great Nicobar. Second statement. Third, the last time the barren island volcano erupted was in 1991 and it has remained inactive since then. If you are reading newspaper, you might be aware that it has erupted recently. And it also erupted in, I think, 2017. So this statement is wrong. Okay, so based on this information, third statement is wrong. So you have to select the answer, which is A, 1 only, B, 2 and 3, C, 3 only, D, 1 and 3. So please solve this question and write your answer in the comment section. Okay, there is a PYQ from the mains as well from 2014. And the question is, why are the world fold mountain system located along the margin of continent? Bring out the association between the global distribution of fold mountains and earthquake and volcanoes. So here you should be very clear about plate tectonics, how fold mountain formation take place, what are the location of fold mountains, and if you are very thorough with them, you can also draw a world map where fold mountains are located. That will enhance your answer. Okay, so these are the PYQ related to the first news. Let us move to the second news. So in the second news, we will be learning about the 53rd Chief Justice of India. In this news, we will be covering about the appointment procedure of Chief Justice of India, then other Supreme Court judges and their removal. Okay. And it is related to GS paper 2, which talks about structure, organization, functioning of executive and the judiciary. Let us move to the discussion of this news. So first, let us discuss the context. The context is that Justice Surya Kant has been sworn in as the 53rd Chief Justice of India. He is the 53rd Chief Justice of India. let us understand the appointment procedure of Chief Justice of India. First of all, procedure. Okay, so the outgoing CGI recommend the successor. Okay, it is not random successor. He recommend on the basis of seniority. We will understand about seniority convention in the next point. So it is not random. He select or he recommend on the basis of seniority. Okay, and it is forwarded to the law ministry, and law ministry forward the recommendation to the Honorable Prime Minister of India. Then Honorable Prime Minister advises the President. Then the President appoint the CGI. So that is the basic procedure. Now coming to the seniority convention. Okay. So basically the senior most judge is selected as the Chief Justice of India. And it is an convention. That means it is an tradition. Okay. And the seniority is not decided upon the age of the judge, but how much time the judge has worked in the Supreme Court. That is the basic definition of seniority here. Okay. And constitutional basis is that he or she is appointed by the President under Article 124(2). That is the basic. So question can be here, can be there from this information, or question can be there from the static information, like who was the first Chief Justice of India after independence. After independence, it is Justice H.J. Kanya. Okay. There is no woman Chief Justice of India till now. If such statement is there, it is correct or wrong. Okay. You should be knowing about such facts. Okay. So till now, there is no woman Chief Justice of India. So statement based questions are coming in the examination. So there can be a statement like there is no Chief Justice. There was no Chief Justice of India who was woman till now. So it is an correct statement. Okay. So please write down in the comment section who was the Chief Justice for the longest time as well as the Chief Justice for the shortest time. It will enhance your static information. What I am asking is, please write down in the comment section who was the Chief Justice who has served as the Chief Justice of India for the longest time as well as the Chief Justice for the shortest time. You have to write that in the comment section. Okay, let us move to the next slide. Next slide is about the appointment of the other Supreme Court Supreme Court judges. Okay. First of all, the Supreme Court judges are appointed on the basis of collegium recommendation. And they are also appointed under Article 124(2). So basically, Supreme Court judges are appointed by President on the advice of the collegium. What is the present constituent of collegium? It is the CGI plus 4 senior most judges. Okay, so that is the present constituent of collegium. Okay, so based on their recommendation, President appoint the Supreme Court judges. Okay, when you are reading about collegium system, please read about first, second, and the third judge case. It is very important to know about the evolution of collegium system. The first judge case was in 1981, second judge case was in 1993, and the third judge case was in 1998. Okay, please read about these 3 judgments. These are very simple judgment. You will learn about the evolution of collegium system in India. Okay. Secondly, what is the eligibility criteria for Supreme Court judge? So there are four criteria. First, he or she should be a judge of High Court for 5 years, or an advocate for High Court for 10 years, or he or she must be distinguished jurist in the opinion of president. That means if president think that you are a distinguished jurist, you can be directly appointed as Supreme Court judge. It is very important. And the second important fact here is that there is no minimum age for to be appointed as Supreme Court judge. Please note that there is no minimum age for appointment of Supreme Court judge. Supreme Court judge. It is very important. Okay, it get confusing. It might be looking simple at first, but when you will be reading about all the appointment, then it will become little bit confusing. So let it be very clear here that there is no minimum age requirement for appointment of Supreme Court judges. Okay, now let us talk about tenure of Supreme Court judge. So he or she hold office until 65 years of age. And please note here that the person who has been a judge of Supreme Court is debarred from practice in any court of law or before any other authority in India. That's a fact that can be asked in the question form or the statement format in your prelims examination. Okay. So now let us look at the removal process of Supreme Court judges. So here the grounds of removal is only on grounds of proven misbehavior or incapacity. Okay, there is a PYQ related to this news. Please listen carefully. You have to solve this PYQ. Okay. So the ground of removal is only on the ground of proven misbehavior or incapacity. These terms are not defined in the Constitution. These terms are not defined in the Constitution. Secondly, the president can remove a judge only after the both House of Parliament passes a special resolution. So let us understand a little bit here. First of all, 50 members from the Rajya Sabha or 100 members from a Lok Sabha passes a removal resolution, and they submit that resolution to Speaker or Chairman. Speaker in the case of Lok Sabha, Chairman in the case of Rajya Sabha. So the Speaker or Chairman can accept the motion, also he or she can reject the motion. It is very important. He or she can accept the motion, removal motion, or he can reject the motion. If he accept the motion, then he have to form a committee. It will be a 3-member committee which will inquire about the proven misbehavior or incapacity of the judge. Okay, they will inquire about that, then they will submit a report. Based on that, a resolution will be passed in the both the house which require a special majority. And special majority for impeachment or removal of Supreme Court judges, that the majority of the house, okay, and majority of 2/3 member voting and their majority. That means total majority of the house is required, and at least 2/3 members should be voting and their majority is also required. And that resolution should be passed from both the houses in the same session. It should not be the case that in one house it is passed in one session of the house and in the other house it is passed in the next session. Lastly, the procedure for removal of judge is elaborated in the Judges Inquiry Act of 1968. Okay, based on this information, there was a PYQ. You have to solve that PYQ. Okay. Now, in the last slide of this news, let us understand about the key role and power of the Chief Justice of India. First, he perform as the judicial leadership. What does it mean? Basically, he heads the Supreme Court, preside over the constitution benches, and allocate cases. Okay, which bench will handle which case. Secondly, he has administrative authority as well, in which he control the roster as well as supervise courts administration and ensure smooth functioning of the judicial system. So basically, he is responsible for the administrative functions as well. Lastly, his judicial vision should be very clear, and he forms the judicial vision of the Supreme Court by safe prioritizing, such as reducing pendency cases, as there are around 90,000 pendency cases in Supreme Court. Okay, you should know such type of facts. Promoting alternative dispute resolution and strengthening constitutional governance. Okay, so these are the key roles and power of the CGI. One of the most important function also is that he is the part of the collegium system. We have discussed this. Okay, CGI along with the four other senior most judges. Okay, so these are the key roles and power of the CGI. Now we will discuss some PYQ related to this news. So the first PYQ is from 2019. Okay, you have to solve this PYQ because we have discussed this in detail. The first statement is the motion to impeach a judge of the Supreme Court of India cannot be rejected by the Speaker of the Lok Sabha as per the Judges Inquiry Act of 1968. We have discussed this statement. Second, the Constitution of India define and give details of what constitute incapacity and proven misbehavior of the judges of the Supreme Court of India. That is the second statement. Third, we have discussed this as well. The detail of the procedure of impeachment of the judges of the Supreme Court of India are given in the Judges Inquiry Act of 1968. We have discussed this as well. Lastly, if the motion for the impeachment of judges is taken up for the voting, the law requires total membership of that house and by not less than 2/3 of total membership of that house present and voting. We have discussed this as well. So basically, you have to mark the correct answer, and the option given are which of the statement given above is are correct. A 1 and 2, B 3 only, C 3 and 4 only, D 1, 3 and 4. Please write down the answer in the comment section. Now moving to the next PYQ. So it is from 2021. And the question is, with reference to the Indian judiciary, consider the following statement. The first statement is, any retired judge of the Supreme Court of India can be called back to the seat and act as Supreme Court judge by Chief Justice of India with the prior permission of President of India. Okay, so it is an correct statement. Any retired judge of the Supreme Court of India can be recalled back with the prior permission of the President of India by Chief Justice of India. It is an correct statement. Second, a High Court in India has the power to review its own judgment as the Supreme Court does. Okay, so this is also an correct statement because High Court also acts as court of record. So both these statements are correct. Answer will be C, both 1 and 2. Okay. Please note that it is very necessary to solve all the polity question to clear prelims examination. Okay. It is a low hanging fruit to clear the prelims examination. Third PYQ is from 2012. The question is, what is the provision to safeguard the autonomy of Supreme Court of India? The first, while appointing the Supreme Court judges, the President of India has to consult the Chief Justice of India. We have discussed that. Second, the Supreme Court judge can be removed by Chief Justice of India only. We have discussed this. There is an impeachment process or removal process for judges of Supreme Court. Third, the salaries of the judges are charged on the Consolidated Fund of India, to which the legislature does not have to vote. I think you might know about the charged on the Consolidated Fund meaning. So It is also an correct statement. This is a wrong statement. This is correct statement. Now the fourth statement. All appointment of officer and staff of the judge of the Supreme Court of India are made by the government only. It's an incorrect statement. These are made by the Supreme Court itself. Okay. So this is an wrong statement. 2 and 4 are incorrect. 1 and 3 are correct. So answer is A. 1 and 3. Now let us discuss one PYQ related to mains. It has appeared in this year examination. Okay. And the question is, discuss the evolution of collegium system in India. Critically examine the advantage and disadvantage of the system in the appointment of judges of Supreme Court of India and that of USA. Okay, so they are basically asking about the evolution of collegium system in India. Then they are asking about the advantage and disadvantage of system in appointment of judges of Supreme Court of India, and you have to compare it with the appointment system in the US. So this was the mains PYQ in the 2025. Okay. So you might understand the nature of question which are coming in the examination. Questions are very basic. You should be very thorough with your basic. Okay, so it might be geography, it might be polity, or it might be environment. You should be very thorough with the basic concept of that syllabus. Then only you will be very comfortable in solving the question in the examination. Now let us move to the next news, which is the last main news for today. And here the news is that Supreme Court's Center for Research and Planning has released white paper on artificial intelligence and the judiciary. So basically this paper is talking about the usage of artificial intelligence in judiciary. It is related to GS paper 2, which talks about functioning of executive and the judiciary. Now let us move to the discussion of this news. We have already discussed the context briefly. So this paper review the safe use of AI in judiciary, outline key ethical challenges, offer recommendation, and it also give the case examples of the other countries as well. That is the basic purview of this white paper. Now let us discuss the key highlight of this paper. In key highlight, we will first discuss the risk and ethical challenges of artificial intelligence. You are reading a lot about artificial intelligence in many news. You should basically know the definition of artificial intelligence. Basically, artificial intelligence is usage of machine which perform the function of human capabilities or human abilities. That is the basic meaning of artificial intelligence. So this paper provides risk and ethical challenges of artificial intelligence in judiciary. It also gives the recommendations as well as it gives the case examples as well. So first risk here is that it can lead to over reliance and loss of human touch. So there can be two cases and there can be same scenarios, but judgment can be different because there is the role of human judgment. If a judiciary rely a lot on AI, then the same judgment will be there. Okay, if facts and other points are similar, not also same, they are similar, the judgment will be same. So that's why it has highlighted that there should not be over reliance as it will lead to loss of human judgment. Secondly, it talks about hallucination and fabricated content. It might be seen in your note making as well. When you are making notes by using Chat GPT, Gemini, or other generative AI, there are chances that the AI will give information which is not correct and it can be fabricated content. And it will be saying that I am pretty sure that this information is correct. Okay, and they have talked about that it may produce false information or non-existent citation. example case they have given that the in Roberto Mata versus Ivanka and Kumar versus Lendl, the AI has given the fabricated content. That means they will be citing a judgment. There won't be any judgment like that, and there won't be any proof of that judgment. But AI will be citing that judgment. Okay, that is the meaning of this line. Thirdly, there are algorithmic bias as well. Our honorable Prime Minister has also talked about that AI is biased based on the data. Most of the time, AI think that a person is right-handed. Okay. Secondly, they will think that a person from a particular tribe or particular race is more, there are more chances that they will commit the crime. So there will be biases. Okay. And it has given the example of US Compass tool, which has been challenged in state versus Lomis and showed that there are racial biases in the AI. Lastly, it has also talked about deep fakes and evidence manipulation. You know about deep fakes where there are creation of voice or the videos which looks very similar to the original person videos. Okay, that is the other challenge in the usage of AI. Also, there are concerns regarding the privacy and the confidentiality risk, because it is often seen that we are giving our private information to the lawyers, and he or she might feed that information into a chat GPT or other generative AI. Then that data will be fed into that generative AI information. So that is the breach of privacy as well as the confidentiality. These were the risk and the ethical challenges of artificial intelligence. Now let us look into the key recommendation. First of all, it is said that create a AI ethics committee in judiciary. And what this committee will do? This committee will check where AI can be used. And it will have both technical as well as the legal expert. So that is the first major recommendation. Secondly, they talked about secure in-house AI system. So they are saying that any AI device or any AI platform which judiciary will use, that should be secured in the in-house. That means it should be available for the in-house. It should not be made public. Okay. Thirdly, they talked about adopt a formal ethical AI policy. That means there should be a policy which talks clearly about usage of AI in judiciary. They also talks about other, that means mandate disclosure and audit trail. That means what kind of details or what kind of disclosure should be made. Also, they also talks about comprehensive training. That means there should be training for usage of AI. Now we will look into the examples which are given by the white paper. First, it talks about key initiative in India. Okay, you can have a look upon them. You can use as an example when you are talking about technology in judiciary. Okay, first, e-court mission mode project. It is an AI tool which tackle case backlog, linguistic barriers, and administrative delay. Secondly, they talk about, and the key initiative which are there in India is SUPES. That means Supreme Court Portal for Assistance in Court Efficiency. And what does it do? It helps judges in analyzing case record and generate summaries. Thirdly, they talk about the SUHAS, which is Supreme Court Vidik Anuvad software. That is basically for translating the judgment of Supreme Court cases. And there are other examples as well. Terrace, that is AI based transcription tool. That is another one is Legra, that is legal research and analysis assistance. So these are important to write as an example when you will be supporting your answer in the question where they have asked about the usage of technology to clear the pendency of the courts or to reforms the courts. These are the key initiative of India. Now we will look into the key initiative of the world. Here also they can be cited as an examples. First, it talks about the UNESCO's, which has published recommendation on the ethics of artificial intelligence and global toolkit on AI and rule of law. This is the first initiative which is global. Then they have also talked about a initiative of OECD, that is Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, and it has published principle of artificial intelligence which established the first intergovernmental standard for AI. This statement is important as this is an extreme statement. This established the first intergovernmental standard on AI. They also talk about the EU AI Act which regulate high risk judicial AI system. So there is an act in European Union which regulate high risk judicial AI systems. Lastly, they have given the example of national models. First is Brazil ethos, and secondly they have talked about Singapore LawNet AI. So you can write them as an example to support your answer. Mostly in conclusion that these types of model can be used and our AI in judiciary can be better used. So this was all about this news. We will discuss one PYQ which is not directly related to this discussion, but it is related to artificial intelligence, and it is was there in 2020 prelims. And the question is, with the present state of development, artificial intelligence can effectively do which of the following? Please read these questions very carefully. Can effectively do or cannot effectively do? There can be such questions as well. Okay. And the options are: 1. Bring down electricity consumption in industrial unit. Second, create meaningful short stories and songs. Third, disease diagnosis. Fourth, text to speech conversion. Fifth, wireless transmission of electrical energy. So the fifth statement is wrong for today itself. Artificial intelligence cannot transmit electrical energy in wireless format. But at the time in 2020, even this statement was wrong. That means at that time AI could not create meaningful short stories and songs at that time. But now if this question, suppose this question is asked again in 2026 prelims examination, that means that this statement for now will become correct. But in 2020 it was a wrong statement. At that time artificial intelligence could not lead to creation of meaningful short stories and songs. Okay, so that's why 2 and 5 are incorrect option, and answer is 1, 3 and 4. I am repeating again, if this question is asked again in prelims examination, then the second statement is correct in the today's context. Okay. The personality in news for today is Lachit Borphukan, and the context for the news is that the Honorable Prime Minister has paid tribute to the Ahom General, that is Lachit Borphukan, on his birth anniversary. In this news, we will learn about Lachit Borphukan. Basically, he was born on 24th November in Chardo, Assam, and he lived from 1622 to 1672. Okay, and he has served several positions in Ahom Kingdom, including the Commander-in-Chief of the Army of Ahom Kingdom. And Ahom Kingdom was established by Sukapa, and who ruled over much of Assam and northeast from 1228 to 1826. This information is very important for your examination. Also read about the Ahom Kingdom, which is given in your history textbook in the regional dynasties chapter. Okay. He is also known for Battle of Saraighat in 16 1871, in which he defeated the Mughal forces, which was led by Raja Ram Singh on the orders of Aurangzeb. This is also an important information. He was leading in the Battle of Saraigat, and it was order from the Aurangzeb. Let us talk about the recognition which is given to the Lachit Borphukan. Firstly, in National Defence Academy, which is there in Pune, the best cadet is given as the Lachit Borphukan Gold Medal since 1999. Okay. There is also a Lachit Divas on November 24th. That it was yesterday. Okay. And there is 125 feet bronze statue as well in Assam. So this was all about Lachit Borphukan. Now we will move towards the quick updates for today. There are 8 quick updates and we will cover them briefly. So the first news is about Gavi. Okay, and it stands for Global Alliance for Vaccine and Immunization. Let us discuss its context or why it was there in news. So it was there in news because Gavi and UNICEF have announced a new agreement to increase global accessibility of the R21 matrix M, that is a malaria vaccine. So this is the context. In the quick updates, the context is very important because there can be a question in the prelims on the context also. They can directly ask about the vaccine, that is R21 matrix M. It is an malaria vaccine. Now coming to the Gavi, we have already talked about it, and it is a global alliance for vaccine and immunization. It was established in 2000 and it is a global public-private partnership to improve vaccination access in low-income countries. The other important information is that India is a member of Gavi. Okay, and recently USA has pulled out from funding of Gavi. It has been seen that USA has pulled out from the major global organization in the recent past. Its mission, it aims to immunize children against deadly disease and strengthen national vaccination system. When we talk about its impact, around 1.2 billion children has given vaccine under Gavi. Okay, and it also leads to market shaping, that is, it negotiates price and uses innovative financial tools such as international finance facility for immunization. This funding facility will be used to fund this vaccine also. Okay, so this was about first quick update. Now let us discuss the second quick update. The second quick update is about uranium 238. And the context is that a recent study has revealed the presence of uranium 238 in the breast milk of lactating mothers in Bihar. So this is the context. This is a concerning news in which it has found that there is presence of uranium 238 in the breast milk of lactating mothers in Bihar. We will understand about uranium 238 concentration and toxicity. We also read about uranium 238 and uranium 235 when we talk about the nuclear power. Okay, so basically uranium 238 is the most abundant uranium isotope in nature, forming about 99.3 of natural uranium. Basically, isotope means have same atomic number but different masses. So other 0.7% is uranium 235, which is used in nuclear power plants. Okay, and enriching of uranium 238 to 235 can lead to bomb formation as well, nuclear bombs. Okay, Its occurrence, that means where it is found in soil, rocks and groundwater and in drinking water under natural conditions. So that is the occurrence of U38. Now coming to its toxicity, okay, it poses a greater risk from chemical toxicity as the metal is very heavy that can impact the kidneys of humans. Okay, and that impact will be more than the radioactivity. Okay, now its safe limit. There is a safe limit for uranium 238. There was a previous question in prelims examination where they asked about safe limit for mercury on the basis of information given by WHO. So there is safe limit for uranium 38, that is 238, that is the World Health Organization set a provisional limit of 30 microgram per liter for uranium in drinking water. And the previous question was about the safe limit of mercury. In the prelims examination, there is no safe limit of mercury. Okay, so that was the question which was given in the statement format. Okay. So this was about the second quick update. Moving to the third news. The third news is about Article 51 of UN Charter. So in this news, we will be learning about Article 51 as well as the Article 2 of UN Charter. Okay, and the context is that the countries like Russia in Ukraine war and Israel in the Gaza conflict invoke the self-defense to justify aggression under Article 51. Let us understand about Article 51. Okay, so basically after World War II, the UN Charter legally obligated state to refrain from the threat or use of force. This is Article 2. This is Article 2. So under Article 2, after the World War II, the UN Charter legally obligated states to refrain from the threat or use of war. That is Article 2. Now coming to Article 51. Basically, it recognizes the right to self-defense. That means we can defend our country in case of aggression. But it has led to two interpretations. One is restrictive, that means the right to self-defense arise only after the armed attack. That is restrictive. Secondly, it also lead to another interpretation, that is expensive. That means self-defense can arise in response to an imminent threat of armed attack and may extend even against the non-state actors. That means if a country consider that there is a threat from the state as well as non-state parties, they can use force. That is expensive. There is restrictive as well. The other one is expensive. We have talked about Article 2, Article 51 and interpretations of Article 51 in this news. So the next news is about Lake Urmia. Okay, previously the UPSC has asked about Aral Sea because of the same reason. That's why we are covering this news. And the context is that Iran has attempted a cloud seeding over the Lake Urmia basin to induce rainfall amid the country's worst drought in decades. So basically that means there are drought in Iran and Iran has tried for the cloud seeding to fill the Urmia lake. Okay. Even Delhi government has tried for the cloud seeding to fight the pollution. So there are many usages for cloud seeding, that one of them is this. Now coming to the Lake Urmia. It is the largest lake in the Middle East, and the sixth largest salt lake in the world. Okay, and its location, it is located in northwestern Iran and fed by river like Jarina and Samina. Second important point is its decline. It has lost more than 90% of its original water volume. In the same context, UPSC has asked question about RLC in previous year examination. Now we will talk about its environmental impact. As it is a salt water lake, there will be exposed lake bed salt create that will lead to wind blown from the river, and that will take salt from the bed and it will deposit in the field. That will reduce the fertility. Also it will impact the ecological balance of that region. Now let us talk about its protection status. It is under the Ramsar site as well as the UNESCO's Biosphere Reserve. Please write in the comment section in which country the Ramsar city is located. Okay, please write down in the comment section in which country Ramsar city is located. As we are dealing with the Lake Urmia, and the context is Iran has attempted cloud seeding over the Lake Urmia basin to induce rainfall. This was all about this news. Let us move to the next news. So the next news is about biomass pellets. And the context here is that the Union Minister for New and Renewable Energy has inaugurated state-of-art technology for biomass pellet plant in Rewari, that is there in Haryana. Okay, Rewari or Rewadi. Okay, that is there in Haryana. Let us learn about biomass pellet. Their definition is they are small, cylindrical and condensed form of organic matter. Organic matter are those materials which contain carbons. Okay. And what are the raw material that are used to make biomass pellets? Raw material can be agro residue such as paddy, soya, cotton, gram, jawar, stubble, straw, stalk and husk. Basically, they are formed from agro residue from such crops. Now coming to the application. They are used in generation of heat as well as generation of electricity, as they can be used for burning. Now let us talk about their policy mandate. First, the national biomass policy mandate co-firing of 5% biomass pellet in all coal-based thermal power plants, and that requirement is 7% in Delhi and the NCR region. Okay, we have read about NCR region when we were talking about the GRAP implementation in previous classes. Next, policy implementation or policy mandate is that biopellet or biomass pellet manufacturing can be considered under priority sector lending. This was all about the biomass pellet. Let us move to the next quick update. So next quick update is about hammer precision guided weapon. It is important to know the name of this weapon and along with which country we are making this weapon. So basically India, BEL, that is Bharat Electronic Limited, and France Safran are manufacturing hammer precision guided weapon in India. So they are manufacturing it in India. And what is the purpose of this weapon? Basically, it is a combat proven all weather smart air to surface weapon. Air to surface weapon designed for close air strike and deep strike mission. It has a range of more than 70 kilometers and it is a fire and forget. That means it is very precision strike, and even in the case of jammers and other restrictions, it will go and strike on the target. Okay, also it has simultaneous multi-target capabilities. That means when it will be launched after going at distance, it will have the simultaneous attack capabilities. Lastly, it is compatible with 125, 250, 500 and 1000 kilogram standard of bomb bodies. Okay. And it can be launched from low altitude as well as over the rough terrain. It is a air to surface weapon. There are 2 to 3 information which you should read. First, it is a joint venture between India BEL and France Safran. It will be manufactured in India. Its key featured and what is the purpose of this weapon. Now moving to the next quick update. So the next quick update is about tiger reserves. So recently, Supreme Court has appointed a panel, okay, which has recommended to notify tiger reserve in Goa. The panel has recommended that there should be a tiger reserve in Goa. And they have recommended that Kotigayo Wildlife Sanctuary and Netra Valley Wildlife Sanctuary, these two sanctuaries are there in Goa. And Netra Valley Wildlife Sanctuary share its boundary with Kali Tiger Reserve of Karnataka. That means Kali Tiger Reserve is there in Karnataka. And these two wildlife sanctuaries should act as core according to the recommendation of Supreme Court Supreme Court Committee. And the Bhagwan Mahavir National Park, that is home to the famous Dudh Sagar waterfall, should act the buffer zone. When you talk about zones of national park or biosphere reserve, it is like core, buffer and the transition zone. These are the zones of biosphere reserves. Okay. Now coming to the tiger reserves and how they are notified. So they are notified by the state government as per the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972 and on the advice of National Tiger Conservation Authority. Okay, so this authority is also important because it is an statutory body which was formed by amending this act under Ministry of Environment. Okay, so there are two information which are very important here. First of all, that the state government notify the tiger reserve. Second, that NTCA is a statutory body under the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972 and it was formed in 2006. Okay, India has 58 tiger reserves and last one was Madhav in Madhya Pradesh. So please be very aware and keep reading about the tiger reserves in India. This number can change when you will be having your prelims examination. Presently, there are 58 tiger reserves in India. So the last quick update is Amuj Madia tribe. And the context is here that the Bastar region is witnessing growing participation of Amuj Madia youth in events like Bastar Olympics. In this news, we will be covering about Abuj Madia tribes as well as the PVTGs. Okay, so this tribe belongs to Primitive Vulnerable Tribes Group, PVTGs. There was a question about PVTGs in previous prelims examination and question was fact based. That is, there are around 75 PVTGs in India. That was a correct statement. Okay. And they reside in Narayanpur, Dantewada and Amuj Mud areas of Bijapur district. Okay. And they are ancestral and patriarchal tribe. That means they are led by the men of the family. Okay. And divided into several dynasties, but they speak Abuj Badia Gondi dialect. Okay. And the Abuj Maria women consider Godana, that is tattoos, as permanent jewels. So you will often see the tattoos on their bodies. Okay, now coming to the PVTGs, that is criteria for PVTGs. One information was that there are 75 PVTGs in India. And criteria for PVTG recognition is based on Debar Commission, which was formed in 1960 to 61. There are 4 criteria. One, pre-cultural agricultural level of technology. Second, low level of literacy. Third, economic backwardness. Fourth, a declining or stagnant population. So these are the criteria for recognition of PVTGs. So this was all about the News Today session for today. And for reading further about our current affairs or solving smart quiz, you can visit the digital current affairs website of us, and please solve the quiz which is visible on your screen. Thank you and all the best for your preparation.